Should I go cookies? That's so good. That's so good. Yeah, that's so good. Good boy. Good boy. Yeah? You ready for din-din? Good boy.
So here is Zephyr on day 16, and as you guys could see, he was doing really well going out into his paddock and coming into the barn. So now working with him in the wash rack, and I like to spend a lot of time with them kind of building up their confidence and working on grooming in the wash rack area. So my wash rack is 14 foot wide and 14 foot deep, so it's a little bigger, which actually makes for a pretty nice area for them to not feel so claustrophobic. And you see this side I have the solid wall, so sometimes they can get nervous with the other side with the window, so I tend to always kind of start them in this bay first. But just giving him some positive associations there. He likes his stable feed, Seasons feed pellets, so that's been a really good incentive for him. And just working on spending time with him here, getting him comfortable in the space. And you'll see I'll do rubs on his face, and then I'm going to work on we have our brushes and everything in the shelves there, so it's pretty convenient. And this is a curry comb, so I haven't quite got him to connect the dots yet with really letting me in. He still has a bit of a wall up. So oftentimes you can really become their friend by getting those scratches, but again, he's still just a little bit walled up on me here. And sometimes I like to use a curry or instead of my hand, because again, they can feel the electricity from your hand a little bit. So just kind of taking the time. His hair's starting to come off, so this is generally the time when they do start feeling itchy, and then you can really start that bonding. And you can see I was talking to my husband back there, and I told him not to walk up at that time period. And so, and again, sped this up for you guys to see, just because it's just a lot of just spending time and grooming him here. And you can see he's starting to shed off all that long guard hair. And he's handling things pretty well, like when my student Ellen walked past. And I'm just going to keep going in circular motions, just trying to see if I can find those spots. And then finally, I start to get a spot. This is like the first time in almost 2 weeks of working this guy that he finally is letting the walls down and letting me in, and really enjoying the neck scratch here. So for me, this is a big moment when they do that. Every Mustang is a bit different. Sometimes you can get it, on the first day after the first touch, but then sometimes it can take a minute like this guy has. But it's kind of like right there up in his mane a little bit on the edge. You can see every now and then he's kind of not quite sure. And then he kind of starts to do his lip. I kind of associate it to where, like, people who are shy and say, for instance, you dance when no one's looking around. It's kind of like the same thing. He's got to feel comfortable to kind of let go and enjoy himself a little bit. Know that I can be positive and make him feel good. So those are the things that I am working. So I'm really going to try to maximize this now. And again, you see he tries to start to position me to go back to the neck area to scratch him, but I'm trying to see if I can get him more comfortable in some other spots. So behind the shoulder, right there behind the wither sometimes. But, you know, he's getting pretty good about me being on the right side, which is nice because, again, he was so guarded kind of in the beginning. And he is really enjoying it. So again, kind of, these are the moments that we always kind of work for. And again, you can see it's a little windy. That pad's kind of flapping a little bit. He doesn't really mind at all. Really enjoying those little scratches. So now working on the other side, asking for him to back up a step. Getting some nice pressure and release off of the halter. And again, I'm going to go try to work on the other side to see, you know, make sure he can get that same positive association with me scratching his neck. And then sometimes they want to return the favor and groom you, but it doesn't always feel good when they reciprocate with rubbing with their teeth, because it can feel a little bit more so than just our fingertips. And so I'm just going to keep on seeing where I can go up and down his neck. He lets me in under his throat latch there. Got a little bit worried, so I tried to go back to see where he was happy again. And again, that's really good. And then I'm just going to let him have a little bit of a moment, because that was a lot. And it's actually very interesting because he goes through a lot of releasing right now. And you'll see me fiddling with my very long rope, which I'm very good at tangling up. But it's pretty good because it gives me a distraction. So kind of it helps keep the attention away while he is having his moment of releases. I just really want to make sure that I let him have the time right now. And with all his releases, I felt like I needed to release a little bit too. So I still have to be pretty mindful when I go kind of and walk in. You don't just want to be like, okay, he's letting me in and just boom. I'm still going to be, you know, moving at a quicker pace, but I'm still making those building blocks. And I'm just going to keep making him feel good because he's really getting into it now. Really enjoying it. And it's very interesting because he'll kind of position himself where he wants me to scratch him. And again, it's helpful that he's starting to shed, because he's been a tough little cookie about responding to touch. He's been an interesting one in the fact that he kind of prefers me to touch around his nose first, and he's been pretty guarded about his body. So like I said, this is a big moment for him where he's like letting me in and really starting to enjoy touch. And I spend a lot of time doing that, so sped it up for you guys even more. And I thought that was just really good, because again, he handled being in the wash rack really well, dealing with a little bit of the breeze and the flappy things pretty well. And then I get the measuring stick out because I'm curious to see exactly how tall he is. So I'm going to introduce it to him. And for the most part, he is pretty good about objects in his body. So it's kind of no different than when I had introduced him to the stick and the ribbon stick. So it'll be the same type thing. Sometimes they can get a little worried right when it goes next to the wither, but he's handling it really well. And he measured 15.1 right there on the dot, pretty much. So it's a pretty good size. He probably has a little bit more filling out and growing to do, just a smidge more. The rope test says he's pretty close to it, so I was pretty pleased with how well he handled that. And then just gonna go back and I'm gonna show you guys the rope test that I do. So you go from the elbow to the end of the fetlock and then up to the wither. And that kind of can give you a rough guesstimate of if they're kind of still filling out and growing, or if they're kind of right there, because that ratio is pretty spot on for the most part. And then I go back to see if I can get those neck scratches again, get some more positive association, because again, I did the measuring stick and then did the rope, so a little bit of worry there. Now I'm going to work on picking up his feet. That was very good. Just working on here just a smidgen when he wants to put it back down. I just want him to let me kind of hold it for just a second. I was really pleased with that. And go back to give him his scratches for a little bit of a reward. It makes it so much easier when they get scratchy, because you can use that as a very quick reward. So now I'm going to move to the other side. I always find it interesting what I did with the rope, because on the left side I put it behind me, but on this side I put it in front of me. It's all in what you're comfortable with. So I'm right-handed, so that's probably my reasoning why. He's pretty quick and pretty good with the front right. I'm not picking up and letting me hold it. So again, I'm going to go back to the scratches. And again, just super pleased. This session was such a big deal for him, and letting us kind of bond and get a little bit closer, and him letting those walls down even more. So super excited and pleased with Zephyr.